these radiation readings. We gotta get these windows covered.
Is it Chas?
No, let's get started. We have to move underground soon. All right, everyone, let's get started. Someone might Parker up. While many of us hope this day will never come,
I was looking forward to it.
we have sufficient evidence that the evacuation of Earth will begin as soon as the terraforming of the moon is complete. We've been in contact with the other Outlander communities and we're in agreement. Humans must not be allowed to destroy another planet. The only question remaining is, how do we ensure this?
Well, I'm pretty old-fashioned myself. Blow up the launch pads, shoot the evac pods out of the sky.
You can do that.
Well, you're the one who rebuilt the targeting system.
Talking ethically, morally, there's innocent people, children, the last remaining men.
And puppies, and fuzzy bunnies, and flowers.
Shoot them now so people don't ask questions later.
I'll take the targeting system
What
apart.
did you just fucking say?
Put your penises back in your pants. Hanson, this is not a democracy. You will abide by the decisions of this panel or I'll place you under 24 hours. And guess who gets to babysit?
The bitch started it.
I have a suggestion. Don't waste your breath.
I'll let her talk. What is it, honey? You gotta pee?
Okay, can we get a little respect here? We are determining the fate of humankind after all. Let's try to take it seriously. Go ahead, Brunel, you said you had an idea?
We could send a message back in time. Warn them about some changes they can make so that this never happens.
Are you high?
That's a great idea. How about including a message to Taylor's mom to give her dad that blowjob he wanted? You know, a rinse and spit instead of Taylor? Fair trade.
At least my mom can read.
What did I just say?
What would you tell them that they didn't already know? There were conferences, protests.
The water was polluted, air unbreathable, crazy weather, and still they drove cars and wasted resources on candy and manicured lawns. I agree, they knew, they didn't care.
I remember Candy.
How old are you?
Maybe they didn't understand the impact that small changes could make, or they just didn't trust the facts. A nudge from the future might be just what they need.
So can you travel in time? Or can't you?
Not yet. Not exactly. But I'm sure we can make it work.
Time travel is complex. We think of time as this tick, tick, tick into the future that then eventually becomes the past. Imagine instead that all time that has existed or could exist does exist. That all time all at the same time could exist and has existed. This moment does exist. And next century
It does
and
it all
last
right now.
century all
So
exist.
this
But the
moment
only one that we can access, last century
and
and the
we're
next
presently
century, are all happening right now. But the only one we can access is the one we're presently experiencing.
I discovered that firing 2 quasar pulses into deep space during a Class 5 solar storm would create a static charge that travels faster than the speed of light. Adjusting the ion charge of the second pulse and firing close to the event horizon of a black hole would create just enough of a disruption in the space-time continuum so that when the first pulse returns, it returns from a different time.
2 pods separate in team, some new pods.
We can't send a person, but we can send a message through a method we call retro broadcasting. All broadcast signals travel to their destination and then keep going into outer space. So we send a quasar signal out into deep space, find a pulse from a broadcast. Any broadcast, roughly the time frame we're looking for, and then we follow that signal back to the point in time.
Whatever notion of time you're imagining, we're wasting it. We need to be coordinating the targeting system.
Well, I don't like to agree with Killbot here. This sounds like something you'd hear in a movie and think that's bullshit. At least shooting down the space pods and crippling the launch pads is a doable plan.
And if it is possible to detect this message from another point in time, why couldn't the GPF track it and annihilate us before we send it?
Most of the scientists working on time travel carried a Y chromosome and died in the plague. Parrell is one of 3 double Xers working on the field, and she put a execute and terminate code on the file, so if they're opened, self-destruct.
Get working on the technology. I'll assign a team to get the message written. Jeffrey's put together a crew to record it.
I'm on it.
You gotta be fucking crazy to go along with this shit. This little Barbie sits here and spouts off some science fiction crap, and you go along with it? They're civilians. They don't know.
I may be a civilian, but I made it out of the dome and here. There were 18 others. 18. Do you see them here? I saw things I didn't want to know existed, and I did things that I will never forget. So don't fucking call me Barbie, piece of shit.
Woo! The dolly has
Fuck
teeth.
off.
Can we focus, please? In addition to working on the message, we will continue our mission to cripple the launch pads and bring down the pods. Now, we have a lot of work to do, so let's get it done. Jeffries, meet your director. Don't act like you didn't go first.
Let's get to work.
She's seeing anyone?
Once we factored in the resistance created by photon particles, shifted the ratio of acceleration to mass squared, and kept the speed of light as a constant, we created something like a time pocket, but with a large enough bandwidth to carry a short message.
Well, I'm still having trouble with the feasibility of this, but it's hard to argue with a confident woman, and since it doesn't preclude any of our other actions, I say we proceed. And I have to congratulate you both on the way you handled yourselves at last week's meeting.
Taylor hates me.
She's a career soldier, it's a mindset.
How'd she wind up in Outlands anyway and not in the GPF? They love soldiers like that in the zone.
She was in the GPF.
She went AWOL?
She left because of me. I was her commander, and she's a loyal soldier.
Why did you leave?
I saw things I didn't want to know about and did things I would rather forget. I'm meeting with Jeffries in the morning. I'd like you to go over these tech requirements with her and the sort of power draw you anticipate. Don't you find it creepy down here? Hanson, I need you to come with me.
How did you know I was looking for that?
I watch and I listen. I pay attention to the things you say.
Oh, you're such a good boy, but you can't be wandering around like that. You're not fully realized yet. Look, I don't want to lock you in your cage, but you can't just wander around whenever you feel like it.
I was lonely. I waited until your friends were gone. Is it hard to build a particle accelerator?
Yes, especially since I don't have all the parts yet.
I know. I made a list. You said I could meet your friends. You said they would like me.
You really have been paying attention. What else have you learned? You are a growing boy, and your hair is growing in. But I think I'm gonna wait a little bit until I introduce you to the others.